Clever girl. That was a bad intro. What's going on there, YouTube? My name is Nick Murphy. I'm part of the Brothers Murph, and this is You Can Solo That? So for this week, I am going to review a game that is new, that is hot, because I'm all about the hot stuff. I don't care about the old stuff. That's not true. I reviewed Suburbia last time. But I'm reviewing a game that is new and hot and that we are just way into right now. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Dinosaur Island by Panasaurus Game. Oh my god, this game's amazing. This is a game that Mike and I have been playing like crazy recently. We really love it. It's a worker placement game, but it's basically Jurassic Park in a box. And it's amazing. There's just so many throwbacks to Jurassic Park, and it's just chock full of theme, and it's super 90s and just crazy and all over the place. But take away all that, the game is a super tough, solid worker placement game. That's my favorite kind of game. And so I found out there's a solo variant, which I think was a Kickstarter stretch goal if I remember correctly. And so I'm just like, oh, gotta try that. Gotta review it for the people. So here I am doing that. So throughout the game, you're getting dinosaur DNA and you're getting recipes so you can use that DNA to make specific dinosaurs. You're upgrading your laboratory. You're getting specialists to help you with your park. And you're just trying to get as many people into your park as humanly possible to gain victory points. And there's all different kinds of dinosaurs, all different kinds of attractions. Look at this one. It's called the Clever Grill. Clever Girl. Except for its grill. Ah, I love it! Dinosaur Island? What's that? You can solo that. You can solo that? What's that? Let's jump into the gameplay. This intro is going on way too long. You're getting annoyed by it? Yeah, that checks out. Let's see how it plays. So the first thing you have to do is get your first player marker. And you think, Nick, why do I need a first player marker in a solo game? Maybe because this is why. Dinosaur Island, Dinosaur Island. That's right, you get a slap bracelet for your first player marker because it's Jurassic Park and it's the 90s. So Dinosaur Island's solo version sets up in pretty much the same way as a normal game. You get your player boards out here, you put all the cubes in the normal spot, you get your 4 workers, your 3 scientists. You go ahead and put out the game boards out here, you put the herbivores, small carnivores, large carnivores. You put the board for the victory points and the excitement meter. You go ahead and put out the attractions in the market track with your 4 attractions, 4 lab upgrades, and 4 specialists over here. You got some money over here, some paddocks right here, and then some dinosaurs right there. And then we have our bag here, which is where the patrons and the hooligans go. And that's pretty much it. There are some slight differences for setup, which we'll go over right now. In a solo game, you will always play with 5 of the 10 DNA dice. So go ahead and choose them all randomly and throw the other 5 that you're not using back in the box. When setting up the market phase, make sure to take out all attraction and lab tiles that have either a 3 or a 4 on them. They will not be used in the solo game. You are also required to start with the Ankylosaurus as the first herbivore dinosaur. Okay, that's actually not the rule, but it should be because the Ankylosaurus is by far the best dinosaur ever in any era, and I will fist fight anyone who disagrees with me. Look, they even gave her own little Ankylosaurus meeple. Look how cute she is! It's also up to you to use plot twist cards like you do in a normal game if you so choose. You do not have to, though. It is up to you. So if you do want to play with plot twists, give them a shuffle, choose 2 like you normally do, and apply them throughout the game. There's one card in the solo deck, the changes to setup. This just breaks down all the different changes that we're going over right now. But on the other side, there's a round tracker. You're going to take a color of meeple that you're not using in the game and put it on round 1. The solo game takes place over 7 rounds. At the end of 7 rounds, the game is over and you have to see how well you did. So the last part of our setup is to fill our Dinosaur Island bag with patrons and hooligans. Now in a normal game, you usually put 70 patrons and 10 hooligans into the bag. But in a solo game, we only put in 22 patrons and 3 hooligans. And the rest of them can go back in that box. Get out of here, Meeples! The main difference in the solo game is you're going to use these Dinosaur Island solo cards. There are 16 of these cards. They're going to be used in various ways. In Dinosaur Island, the solo game, you're going to have 7 objectives that you're going for throughout the game. So when you're setting up the solo game, you're going to give all these solo cards good little shuffy, shuff. And then we're going to choose 10 of them. And then from those 10, you are going to choose 7 of them, giving you 3 left over. And then those 3 cards will be added to the leftover 6 cards from the solo deck. You're going to give this a shuffle up, and then you're going to use this during the first phase, the research phase, during the game. There are 2 parts to every card. There's an objective up top, and on the bottom is something that's going to eliminate different things from the main game board. The bottom part we'll go over during the game explanation in phase 1 of the research phase. So for the most part, a solo game plays pretty much the same as a normal game with a couple exceptions. So let's go phase by phase and figure out what's different about the solo variant. So during the research phase, after you roll the die and place them in their row, you're going to turn over one of those leftover solo cards. You're going to ignore the objective up top here, but you're going to pay attention to the bottom. The bottom here is going to tell you to eliminate certain things that are on the board. So in this case, you're going to be eliminating a certain amount of die, a certain amount of dinosaur recipes, a certain amount of attractions, laboratory upgrades, and then specialists. So let's go through and see how that happens. So with the card just drawn, we're going to have to get rid of the 1st and the 5th die. So 1 and 5 are out of this round. And then we're also going to have to get rid of the 3rd dinosaur recipe. We have 1, 2, 3. Sorry, T-Rex, you're out of this game. And now for recipe and for dice, your choices are now a little bit more limited, as if a player had come and taken that spot before you were able to get it. And from that same card again, you see we have to take out the value 4 attraction and the value 3 laboratory upgrade. So with level 4 attraction and the level 3 laboratory upgrade are now gone, again as if someone else had taken them before you. But what about specialists? Well, on this card, there's no value specialist that gets taken out. So for this round, all 4 specialists will stay. But on other rounds, it might be different. In this case, the laboratory doesn't get anything taken, but the value 2 specialist would. The market phase is going to go down exactly how it does in a normal game. You're going to get 2 actions in the market area, and you can do whatever you want, with the exception of 2 of the spots are going to be empty due to the solo cards that got rid of them for you. Phase 3, your worker phase, is going to go down literally exactly how it does in a normal game. Take your workers, place them wherever the heck you want. So phase 4, the park phase, is going to go down more or less the same. You're going to get your patrons and your hooligans based off your excitement level, and they're going to go into your park all happy as can be. The only difference is that if your threat level is not enough to contain all of your dinosaurs, and one of them gets out and eats somebody like they do in a normal game, that patron is then gone from the whole game. They do not go back into the bag.
Oh, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna eat you. You're gonna be out of this game for good. I'm gonna get you.
So then during the 5th phase, the cleanup phase, the only thing you have to do that's different is check and see if you met any one of your objectives. In this situation, during this round, I got a 3rd specialist, and this objective here says hire 3 specialists. Huzzah! I got it. So you're going to go ahead and put a corporation token on that card to signify that you got it. And then depending on what round we are on the round tracker, you're going to get that many victory points for completing the objective in that round. So as you can see, the earlier you can complete your objectives, the higher score you're going to get. Now, at the end of that round, if you did not score any of your objectives, you have to then discard one out of the game. There's no penalty for doing this. You're just not going to get those points at the end of the game. But if you do get all 7 of your objectives finished by the end of the game, you're going to get an extra 10 victory points. And that, my friends, is how you solo Dinosaur Island. So that was Dinosaur Island. What's that, Chauncey? This bit's getting a little old. I agree. Chauncey! Never again. Never again. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Alright, so Dinosaur Island soloed. How was it, Nick? It was good. The game doesn't really play all that differently than if you're playing with normal player counts because the cards that eliminate different spots on the board, or essentially different options, is kind of like players taking those spots. And that's how it seems like a lot of solo worker placement games are, is they have some mechanic to knock out certain spots to kind of emulate another kind of player. And that works well in this. It's very simple. You just flip over a card, you go, okay, I need to get rid of this, done. And now I just can't do that. And that's fine, and it works well, and it's easy. It takes 2 seconds, and then boom, you're off and you're going. And it doesn't really feel like that constrictive. It doesn't really feel like, man, like there's no options anymore. So if you really like high player interaction where you're sitting there being like, don't take that spot, please don't take that spot, please don't take that spot, this does not feel like that. Because this, it's just, I haven't even really looked at what's out and what's available at certain prices or anything like that. And I flip over, I get rid of a whole bunch of stuff. So that stuff is kind of just not there. And so I just don't really notice it. So it's kind of just like, oh, I just have these kind of weird array of options this time. How can I get things done? And that's fine. I think that's totally okay. My biggest beef with it is something that actually you can kind of ignore anyway. I have come to realize that if I'm going to play a solo game, and again, I'm not a huge solo gamer anyway, but if I'm going to play a solo game, I want a win-lose condition. I want the game to be like, you have to meet this, or you have to get to this point, or this certain amount of points, or you lose. I'm not nearly as huge a fan of games that are like, just try to get the highest score you possibly can. Or if you get this score, you're in this level. If you get this score, you're in this level. That, for me, is not a good thing in a solo game. And the end conditions for this game is that. It's beat your highest score. It's try to get as high a score as you possibly can, and that's it. And while some people may not mind that, and that's totally great, if you're just like, cool, I just want to try and beat my best score, try to do the best I possibly can at this solo game, cool, great, do you, boo-boo, I'm pumped. For me, though, what it leads to is a lack of motivation. And that's not really this game's specific fault. That's a lot of different games. The last thing I did was Suburbia, which had the exact same thing. For me, it doesn't make me try that hard. Overall, what it comes down to is that in gaming, I'm just not a competitive person. I'm not like, I need to beat you, and I need to beat you, I'm going to win. I just don't really care. In a solo way, though, I do get kind of competitive, and I want something that I can win or lose. For me, just getting to the highest I can possibly get, it ends up being lackluster. Because I'm like, I'm not gonna lose. I'm just not gonna do, as well. And gaming for me is so based in let's just have fun. Let's not be like, oh, I need to do good, yeah, I need to do better. It's not that way at all. Because again, in gaming, I'm just not competitive. I don't really care. So I really want, win or lose. And in Dinosaur Island, you could do that. You have 7 objectives that you're trying to go for, and you could make it where instead of being beat your highest score, it's complete these 7 objectives or you lose. So for me, that's how I'm going to play it. Because then it matters to me. Because then I'm really, really like, oh man, I have 2 more rounds. I need to get 3 objectives done. I have to do this to make it happen. But without that, I'm kind of just like, oh, I didn't get that one. All right. Here's my score. Okay. And it doesn't motivate me. That's my biggest beef with it. Other than that, as a whole, I liked it. I love worker placement. I loved this game specifically. And it was great. So that is going to be it. That is my review of Dinosaur Island. Check us out on all forms of social media, which is going to be right here. Boop! Check us out on Twitch where we stream games like Dinosaur Island. Live on Twitch, you can find us at twitch.tv/The Brothers Murph, which is going to be right here. Boop! Also follow This Game is Broken, which is a comedy board game panel show podcast that we are on. It's a really fun, great show. Find the link for it right here. Boop! And please remember to like and subscribe to our channel. We post tons of content all the time, all over the place. Good times for everyone. So until next time, that was You Can Solo That? With Nick Murphy from The Brothers Murph. We'll see you later.